What was it like going into that England side? Because you'd been a young player in a very experienced dressing room in Lancashire, and then you get picked for England. What was that experience like? Because it was totally different to, say, 7 years later, where you were probably at your peak in
Yeah,
2005.
I've spoke about it a few times before, and I'm sure it will get picked up on, especially on talkSPORT. But it wasn't my favourite.
No, it wasn't.
You know, there's probably a few things at play. I went into a Lancashire dressing room at 15, 16, and you're surrounded by internationals, some of the greats of the game, Wazim Akram, you know what I mean, even others.
Yeah.
And you go in there as an unsure kid, and you're not quite sure where to put yourself or how to behave. But the kid that I was wouldn't have survived in that world.
Yeah.
You know, I was quiet, I was shy, and I had Bumble, who backed me so much. And I didn't understand why at first, but then that started to rub off a little bit. And then with England, it happened quite quickly. So I'd only been bowling about 6 weeks, you know, and I wasn't bowling as I ended my career. I was waddling off a few yards and just getting them down, but I got some wickets. So I got picked for England against South Africa as an all-rounder, and I went in the dressing room, and it was a strange environment. Don't get me wrong, some good lads in there, like Goffey's in there, who's an absolute legend of a man. Gus Fraser, I got on well with others. Butch was in there and people, but
Mentality was different though, wasn't it?
But the sense was that I changed with the washing machines in the back room. You know, I didn't get a spot in the dressing room. You know, I was changing next to an hot point and a bucket of Daz. And what I realised there was probably quite quickly that this is different.
Yeah.
You know, it's a side who don't expect to win, who measure up the opposition as if they're superhuman. And don't get me wrong, there were some good players like Donald and people. But you look around that dressing room then, and you know, you talk about the 90s cricket, and you talk about the underachievement and all the reasons, and they made documentaries on it. That side was brilliant.
Yeah.
That side, if you name it, not with me in it, but you name that side
individually,
but collectively they weren't. It wasn't a team. It was almost a side born out of nervousness, of fear, but survival.
Yeah.
It was about getting to the next game. I didn't feel it was like a team as England is now, and also probably the 2005 side that we played in. That was a proper team.
Yeah.
And then now the culture of the dressing room is completely different. You know, they want character, they want people to express themselves, but all underpinned by working hard.
And you know, years in between that, you know, there were probably some good friendships come. You know, we'd met before. Keezy, who's now in charge of obviously English cricket, Swanee. We were all similar age. We had air tours. We had the National Academy, and mine and Keezy's debut. I keep going on about it. It's like Nasser threw the caps out. It's well done Durham, well done Kent. So it was a bit similar to what you're describing. But take us back to that first morning when we're fielding, and you were convinced that Rob Key can field at slip. And
yeah.
I remember walking from mid-on to mid-off, and Keezy's looking at me going, I need to get out of here. He's never fielded slip in his life. You dropped one, he caught one, and then all of a sudden there was a little bit of back and forth, and Nasser wasn't too happy with your 2 years.
No, so it was Headingley, wasn't it?
No, it was Trent Bridge.
Was it Trent Bridge?
Yeah.
He dropped him at Headingley as well.
He dropped one at Headingley after that, but
Yeah.
it was Trent Bridge when...
So Nasser, you know, we needed a slip fielder.
Yeah, Trez was injured, wasn't he?
Yeah, and Keys is in. And Keys is a great slip fielder, just based on the fact I just want to stand next to him all day. You know what I mean? We can stand next to each other, we can have a chat in the slips. You know, in them days, not many came to the slips. So I just wanted to stand next to him. So he's like, he calls me Trevor, doesn't he? He calls me Trev. He says, what have you done, Trev? I'm not a slipper. I said, you are today, son. So he came into the slips, and he was so nervous. It's his debut, he's in a fielding position he shouldn't be in. But then we just start chatting and messing about. I think I dropped one early on because I was talking to him, and he stood next to me, Keezy. He's going, all right, Trev, what's your favourite film? Drop Zone. Like, all right. What's your favourite TV show? Drop the Dead Donkey. And he was just going, drop, drop, drop. He dropped 2 or 3. And then the first one, I was laughing. And then the second one, I felt bad. And by the third one, I felt awful. But Nasser could see what was going on. And then I think after he dropped the first or the second one, he just shouted from mid-off, oi, Keezy, I've not put you in there to chat next to your fat mate Fred. It's like he was seething. So I think looking back, you know, you talk about things and you talk about playing for England, which was brilliant, don't get me wrong. But for me, it was all about the people I was playing with as well. You know, if you was there,
Yeah.
it was incredible. When Keezy was there, the three of us, even better. You know, you had Swanee there.
Mm.
You get on really well with Geraint Jones. It was like the people.
Yeah.
And, you know, you think about memories. You know, we got that picture, haven't we, from 2005, and then you give me one from 2009 after the Ashes in the dressing room where we sat there.
Yeah.
And that's one of the few things in my house that I've got up from a cricket career. So I think when I do look back, it's not so much the innings or the games or anything. It's moments like that, you know.
Yeah, we did the Ashes thing, you know, last night. Whenever this goes out, but we talked about it, and it's like there wasn't many people who got hundreds. There wasn't many people that got fifers. We had a team environment and a team ethic that, you know, worked for each other, and I think that was the transcendent era of Nasser's Stewie's group that were captains, to where Michael took it. It started, and it'll come back to me, but it started in the West Indies, didn't it? That run started it, didn't it? To Michael winning, you know, lifting the Ashes in 2005.
Yeah, we beat everyone in the world, didn't we?
But did we have a different mentality and a different mindset going into that Caribbean trip? Because we were a lot fitter.
Well, I think even before that against Africa, was it South Africa before that in the summer?
South Africa was in the summer, yeah.
Yeah. So I think what happened was Michael took over, and for me that was a relief.
Yeah.
There's no two ways about it, you know.
Did Nasser stifle us, or did he mould and educate us what we possibly needed as?
I'm not sure it's what we needed.
Do you not?
No.
I thought it's what I needed.
Yeah.
Me and you have many disagreements in our room watching the television.
You're always right, aren't you?
Yeah, and I'm always right. Yeah, and you always have the last word, didn't you?
Yeah.
But I always felt as though I needed Nasser to shout at me to help me go where you.
I just needed to breathe a little bit, to be honest with you. I think I look back.
Is that what Michael did to us?
I think so. I think with Nasser, and I get all right with Nasser now.
Yeah.
You know, I won't want to see him every day, but I get all right with him. And the one thing was, I think someone else said this. You look at two captains. You look at Steve Waugh. He was hard on the opposition, and you had Nasser, who was hard on his own players.
Yeah.
And I don't think it came from a bad place.
No.
I don't think it did. I think it came. Nasser's a passionate man. He's single-minded. I think I write about this in the book, and that's how he operated. But for me, I think at times I needed an hurry-up, or I needed a bollock-in, or I needed someone to have an hard word. But I needed a bit more room to move a little bit, to be honest with you. And I think Michael did that for us. You know, he wanted people to express the character. He wanted to play in a different way. And with Michael, I think he let me be me to a point. And then if I started just going the wrong side of it, he'd pull me back in. And that allowed me. But it also as well, it came in a time when I was a little bit older as well.
Yeah.
I played a little bit more. And if you look at the culture that he created, it's similar to what England are doing now. But we didn't see it through, where I think these lads are. You know, you hear some of the stuff about, you know, call it what you want, baseball, this, that, or the other. But I think that's what we were starting to do. Whether that was an innocent thing and it just evolved that way, or it was Michael's vision to some degree. But then you look at it, and it was, as good as it was so fragile. You know, because all that team spirit and all that fun was born out of results.
Yeah.
And then actually when we needed that togetherness, it disappeared a bit. Apart from, I reckon, the bowlers.
Yeah.
I think that group of bowlers we had, and I don't mind saying it even though I was in it, is the best bowlers England have ever had as a group. With you know, I think about the players I played with. I think you're the best bowler ever to play for England in your prime, hands down. Nobody. And I looked at it and thought, actually, in a team coming in at 6 or coming on first change, there's 2 people I need in this team. One was you, because I come on bowling after you, it was easier. And then batting, if Marcus Trescothick scores runs at the top of the order, my job at 6 is easier. And stick Kevin that as well. It's like Christmas. But the one thing we had with you, Simon, Hoggy, and myself, and I put Gilo in as well, is that was togetherness. If that's a word, it was a thing where actually we all know we're going to get wickets at some point, and if I'm not getting them, you're getting them, and I'll bowl for you. And that was a real shift in things as a group of bowlers who complemented each other skill-wise. I think complemented each other's characters, but actually cared for each other as well, which was the biggest thing. So I think being part of that quartet was one of my favourite parts of my career.